And welcome back to POS Land of Sophistication, thanks to our Extra Life sponsor, Daryl Nawu. It's been a long time coming, but here is your episode request at last. And so, Offspring Kim, what sophistication has Daryl given us this time?
Smallville, actually. The Season 8 finale.
Shan't be needing this. Well, I guess it's time to get you all caught up.
This is Davis. Davis likes Chloe. Chloe's engaged to Jimmy. Chloe runs off with Davis. Davis hulks out into Doomsday. Hijinks ensue. This is S&M Doomsday.
We begin the episode with Cosmic Boy, a member of the Legion of Superheroes from the future, mentioned in one of my favorite episodes earlier this season, Legion, coming to warn Clark about the future. He says that ever since their adventures in Legion, they've gone back to the future, everything's fine except there's no Superman, and there never was.
Wait, I thought Supes was the foundation of this bright future.
Cal, your influence will reach far beyond Earth. It's because of you that the world learns to welcome alien immigrants with open arms.
How can it exist without him?
He gives Clark a Legion ring because Clark had destroyed the one they gave him last time, which basically the Legion ring is a time machine. This really isn't going to matter for the episode, but it's going to matter for the setup to the next season.
Use the ring. Send Doomsday to the future. The Legion's there and we are ready to fight him.
Clark insists on fighting Doomsday. They've had some tussles, but no real fights yet this season. Even though, at this point, Doomsday is now going to be so powerful, he literally cannot be killed. But Clark insists because to do otherwise would not be Superman. And meanwhile, Chloe has run off with Davis, and they're hiding somewhere watching stars on a car. Edge City? Is this a mask crossover?
It's Demeter.
It is? I'm not familiar with any constellation that depicts the goddess Demeter.
And her daughter, Persephone, was taken by Hades to the underworld. But when Hades offered Persephone her chance at freedom, to everyone's surprise, Persephone chose to live underground.
No, she does not. Once again, Smallville screws up their mythology in a clumsy attempt to foreshadow the episode's plot.
And we're reminded of something we found out earlier this season. For some reason that's never really described, Chloe's presence somehow stops Davis from hulking out into Doomsday.
Don't go. Your presence is soothing.
Meanwhile, and again, this is Smallville at the end of a season, so there's going to be a lot of meanwhiles, Tess Mercer is tracking the duo because she's trying to find out how to destroy Doomsday herself, and it turns out she's been robbed. She's been collecting an orb from previous seasons, a Kryptonian device, and it's now gone.
You have no idea how many lives are at stake. Find that orb.
Clark is preparing a farewell letter. Okay, we need a little more backstory here. He has been moving around as the superhero known as the Red Blue Blur because we're really afraid to call him Superman for some reason.
You may be known as Clark Kent now, but one day you'll be known as Garth.
We'll see more of that later. But this moment is still touching because he knows he is about to die, and yet he will not shirk his duties and will go and stand against Doomsday as the only one who can even go toe-to-toe with him. Also, this is foreshadowing the famous Superman fights Doomsday in the comics where he died, so obviously we're going to go on themes of mortality there. Meanwhile, Lois shows up to bitch at Clark. But to be fair, this time there's a reason. She's really worried about Chloe. Chloe's her cousin.
Do you want to at least
tell me about this little novella you're working on that's so important?
No.
Forget it.
So Clark vanishes and calls her in the persona of the Blur. He's been doing this for a while now. They have a moment, which is actually a decent moment, and he gives her the letter.
The Blur is in the area and brings you a typed letter, and you saw Clark typing on the computer earlier, something that he wouldn't show you.
Goodbye. What do you mean goodbye?
She asks to see his face since he says he's about to die, and he refuses because this is Smallville and you have to have petty secret keeping no matter what.
No tights, no flights?
No brain lights.
They make a date to meet at a public phone booth. Keep in mind this episode was released in 2009. Did phone booths exist at that point in history?
Maroon 5 still thought they did.
If anyone can save Chloe, I know it's you.
Oh goody! The comforting music with the bed and breakfast is back. Smashing. Clark meets with Flash, we've seen him established for quite a while now, and Black Canary comes along, so we're having a pseudo meeting of the Smallville equivalent of the Justice League going on here. And Arrow shows up as well. Clark has a plan to permanently trap Doomsday because he can't be killed, but he can be confined indefinitely. Basically, there's an abandoned mine drilling facility where no one will be there. He's going to drop him down a mine shaft a mile beneath the Earth's crust and then set off an explosion and trap him there. But before that, he plans to save the innocent in this, Davis, the human side of Doomsday, by using black kryptonite from a previous episode. A lot of continuity in Smallville, gotta give him that, to split him into his two sides. Green Lantern, Arrow arrives to urge Clark to just kill Davis, because he's just as bad as Doomsday, according to Arrow. Of course, since Arrow has already killed Lex Luthor, and Clark knows this, he's not really listening to Oliver right now.
Oliver crossed the line. He killed Lex Luthor. You're not one of us anymore.
Awkward. Meanwhile, Jimmy Olsen breaks into Tess's office to find information on Chloe, since he apparently realizes that she's tracking his love. And there he runs into Lois, doing the same thing, and wacky shenanigans. It's Lois and Jimmy, that's kind of what they're good for. Since Jimmy is working for Oliver, and Oliver has state-of-the-art hacking technology, he can put the magic Deus Ex Machina device into Tess's computer and crack the codes and instantly know right where they are. In other words, he gets to move us into Act 2.
Looks like Chloe and Davis are on the outskirts of Edge City, and so am I. Don't take your eyes off them. Let me know if they move.
Lois then discovers video that's, again, more Season 9 setup. By this time, Smallville had flown into a rhythm where mostly the finales were wrapping up the old stuff and setting up new stuff in the same episode, and it often got very convoluted. See this example. Black Canary and Flash send Clark the data, and he is able to instantly use it to hear where they are based on the radar. How does this work? So Clark runs to the corner of the radar screen, but everyone's already gone. Worse than that? Well, might as well use it straight this time.
It's a trap!
Sorry, Clark, we couldn't risk losing you.
Set by Oliver of all people, and Black Canary and Flash joining in. But they don't want to kill Clark, only incapacitate him so they can go kill Davis because they believe it's what needs to be done.
For the greater good.
Oh, sorry. Wrong hooded people clip. Meanwhile, back at the Daily Planet, Tess questions Lois about breaking into her computer, and Tess thinks Lois was the one who stole her orb, and, it's a girl fight. And at this point, I can't tell if it's supposed to be a sexy girl fight, or if it's supposed to be a savage girl fight. I think it's a savage, because they're not tearing their clothes, but I'm not sure. It looks kind of like a rough fight. Kidney punches aren't sexy, are they? I don't know, I don't find any girl fights hot, to be honest.
Matt, you know that if you Google it, you will find someone who has done art of sexy kidney punches.
In the scuffle, Lois finds and accidentally uses Clark's Legion ring and disappears all the way back into Season 9.